So it's 421. We're cleaning up all the empty Cheetos bags and, returning.
Pickle jars.
We're cleaning up all the snack foods that were consumed yesterday and getting back to work.
Yeah, that was a heck of a party you threw yesterday, Joe. Thank you very much for inviting me. I had no idea that the Catalyst folks were so into 420. So
Yeah.
Well done.
Yep, it's we did not have to tap into the emergency bail fund, so that's always a successful night. So it was a pleasure to have you.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me again, Joe. And I mean that.
Actually, let's start that one over.
Come on, I like that one, man. I want people to know what the heck what did we do last night?
All right. Well, we can. We can do. I don't think you knew what I was talking about at first because you said pickle jars, and that doesn't fit with getting high. So,
Well, you were munching on them still. I thought you were still high. I thought you were.
No, nobody knew that, though. Nobody knows that. I was out of context. All right, Phil.
No, wait. You mean you've never gotten munchies and ate pickles? So you're saying like that? That's not.
I've never actually smoked.
Okay. Well, I mean, like if you know people, I know you know.
Yeah. If you've got some instruction manual you've written or something, you can kick it over. We can put.
Yeah, I'll send you a few of my blog posts.
All right. It is 421. We've just finished up cleaning out the empty Cheetos bags and Twinkie wrappers from 420, and we're ready to get back to some serious work.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Joe. I don't know what 420 means, but I'm sure that's something hip with all your listeners and viewers. So I'll just nod along and
see. What people don't know is that this is not live, and this is take 2 because the first time I did that, you came back with so many weird things that revealed just how deep the rabbit hole goes over there that we had to start over again. And now you're playing innocent. I don't like this.
So we've got listeners that need help about how to get their business moving, and I don't know what you're talking about right now. So let's just move on with our show, please.
All right.
I appreciate it, though. Yeah, it is 421. It's a day after 420. Hopefully, businesses are trying to figure out again how much longer we're going to be in this. You know, Joe, I was on another call this morning with our Florida Chamber folks, and I really do believe part of what we have to get used to is it's going to be a little longer for a lot of us to operate the way we are. Because we do not want to bounce back into a worse situation. So
right.
I think this phase 1 effort of trying to get people back out that have to be back out and that you and I can behave in that proper way, we're going to learn a lot about that going forward.
And one of the big levers that you've mentioned is the availability of testing. And is that one of the big key points? Once we see the testing levels of quantity and quality rate rise, then we know we're getting in the right direction.
We know we're in the right direction. The other part that's going to be really interesting, like some of the other countries are really doing right now, is the monitoring. Could you imagine there might be an opportunity really that if you've tested positive, that you might be on a app where people can look around and see who on the block has been tested positive or not. So like in other countries right now, the monitoring is as much as the testing, so that we find out who is still spreading it and how do we isolate those folks. So we really are going to go about 6 or 9 months with some whole new conversations about testing and monitoring that our businesses and our customers have never had to deal with before.
And I think one key point, just as I know a lot of people are right on the cusp with their businesses and there's the pressure to open, and on the other side of open is certainly caution, and certainly it's fair to say that people that are in the medical profession are going to put health at a higher, because that's what they live and breathe. But really at the core of it is it's to not ultimately hurt the businesses worse, because if we keep bouncing in and out of these situations, then that's just gonna make the recovery harder and more unsure, because if you come out of this only to have a major threat and actually go back into it, then the ultimate long-term negative effects will be bigger than if we get it right the first time.
The real key for all of us in St. Pete and Pinellas County is let's get it right. So let's be patient. Let's make sure that all of our healthcare professionals, our city administrators, county administrators really understand what we need to operate our businesses safely so that they can design the system so that we can open. So part of our job right now is to to really think through the safety of your customers and your employees and begin to assemble a plan that you can communicate with all of those folks and the city and county of how you're going to do that. So that is going to be a job going forward for the next week or two. Yeah. So what I thought is we're still, there's still a lot of folks majorly impacted. We haven't talked about the museums yet. So let's talk about how our museums are being impacted. And I've got a double whammy on this one because Patricia also leads our St. Pete Young Professionals. So we're going to talk about how the young professionals are helping out with COVID-19 as well. All right. And there
Welcome,
she is.
Patricia.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Patricia.
It's a huge house.
That is. Beautiful.
I wish.
So Patricia, looks like you are indeed at the James Museum, I can tell, because I don't believe that's your house. I do believe that's the museum. So first of all, introduce yourself and tell people a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My name is Patricia Kleins. I'm the Chief Financial Officer here at the beautiful James Museum in downtown St. Pete. I'm actually originally from New York, so I'm a transplant to the St. Pete community. I moved here about 7 years ago, and I just fell in love with how Chris likes to say it. It's funky vibe and culture.
Cool. Well, I bet you. I'm sure you've still got some friends and family up in New York, and I'm sure you're glad you're not in that environment right now, I would imagine.
Yeah. It's definitely tough out there right now. Actually, my whole family is still up there, and unfortunately, my parents were affected by the coronavirus. So it's been a little rough for us because it literally hit home for us. So my parents, unfortunately, were affected, but are now at home recovering. And we had a couple of friends and friends of the family as well that were affected, and a couple of unfortunate incidents that didn't make it through. But overall, the majority is recovering. So we're very happy about that.
Wow. Well, hang in there. And I understand it. Joe and I have been doing this for a couple of weeks now. And now each time we do that, we have a similar conversation with the guests that they're personally affected as well. So it's now becoming a lot less about business and a lot more about just ourselves in general. So tell me, so you guys have had to close the museum. What's it like to get all your employees and everybody to shut down a museum, and how's that working so far?
Yeah, we had obviously our main priority was the safety of our staff and also our visitors of our community. So on March 16th, we made an executive decision to not open that morning. It was a Monday. Our staff was already here, and we just wanted to really focus on the safety of them, of our team, of our visitors. We wanted to make sure that we were still complying with the different policies and regulations at the local, county, and state level as well. So we had to do that. We had to unfortunately do that, as all the rest of the museums did in St. Petersburg as well. But while it was a tough decision to make, we believe that it was the right decision to make. We want to make sure that we keep our community safe, and that was obviously our priority.
How many folks does the James Museum employ?
About 60.
Wow. And so all those people are in furlough. So are you providing content for folks? I know that some folks are getting into the virtual museum world. How have you guys had to go from a beautiful, absolutely beautiful venue that warms anyone's heart when you walk in, to how do you make that transition, and are you guys making a transition to the
Right now, everything is still as is. We have the entirety of our team at the moment, and a lot of our staff is working from home. We didn't have any content initially when we closed that was a virtual experience per se. And within a matter of 2 weeks, our wonderful team of educators and our curatorial team, along with the marketing team, worked on developing that curated content. And it's now updated on a weekly basis on our website. So if you go to thejamesmuseum.org, you'll be able to find brand new content that is curated on there on the website. It's absolutely free for everyone. You don't even need to have an account to log in. So it's very accessible. Again, it's free. Anyone can access it. It changes on a weekly basis. It's curated. It focuses on our exhibition. Our collection. So it's everything from art, music, movies, books, and children activities that parents can also do at home.
Wow. So yeah, you guys have had to learn a whole new business for yourselves as well, and that
Yeah.
has to be somewhat frustrating for folks, but also probably creative, right? I mean, it's now years a chance. Every business has to figure out how to lean into this. What have you guys learned from this as a team?
Hmm. We learned to think outside the box and be creative. We learned to stay communicated, to remain communicated even more than ever. We learned to work from home. We learned to use those different online virtual platforms that we had not really taken advantage of before. We completely redesigned and changed our website. We worked on this project that we had been thinking about, that we knew we needed to work on at one point, and yet, with the day to day, sometimes you don't get to those kinds of projects that are a little bit more long term. So we really decided to embrace this new normal for us right now, and we're very proud of how we've worked together. Um, I think it's a true reflection of our team, our values, our culture, and how talented individuals we have as part of our team.
Yep. So let me ask you another question, because a lot of our businesses are thinking through this too. You have folks who are members of the museum who pay that they can come in anytime. How have you guys gone about communicating with those who pay an annual membership and now they haven't been able to enjoy using that? What kind of communications have you set up for your customers?
Yeah, so we have done a couple of email blasts to the members, but we actually have a team of our staff that is also just reaching out by phone, just like the chamber has done. We're reaching out to our members. We're telling them we still want to hear from you. We want to make sure that you're okay. Is there anything that we can do for you? We want to let you know about the content that we have online on the website, how we're curating it on a weekly basis, and that we miss you. And we really hope to see you here again, because what really makes the Jay's Museum is not only the energy and the vibe of our staff, but also of our visitors and members.
Yeah, I got to believe it. It's a tough world right now, but it sounds like your staff might be actually more tired than just on a normal week because of all the extra activities, right? I mean, like
Yeah.
what you guys have just created is a whole new world of experiences and a whole new activities.
Yeah.
So this whole world of working from home, while it sounds somewhat glamorous, is certainly asking us to do a lot more, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's again, it's just a matter of being positive about it and just embracing this new normal that we have going on right now, and figuring out ways for us to make it work and to remain engaged with our audience, our members, our staff, to continue to find creative ways to work. And to develop content. So it's luckily all worked out very well so far. And we definitely do hope that we get to open soon again when it's safe. It's going to be a very well thought out, a strategic plan. Keeping in mind again the safety of our community, of our staff, of our visitors, and we're working on that, on thinking, starting to think about what it would look like, and we know that it's probably going to be different than we were used to. But I think that that's going to be the reality that a lot of companies are going to be facing, not just nonprofits and museums. But we are very happy to still be here and to be an essential piece of the arts that is such an immense value in this St. Pete community.
Right.
We are
Well,
the city of art.
yeah, we certainly appreciate it. We are the city of art, and they will be back someday, back in your place, because we need that. So before I move on to another subject, when you're there at night, do any of them does anything move around? I mean, I've seen a lot of movies about, I think they're documentaries. Maybe they're not documentaries. They're Ben Stiller movies. I don't know if they're documentary, but about the museum coming to life at night. But it must be actually kind of fun just to be in that museum. It's so beautiful uh, when you're there when it's open, but when it's so quiet there, it must be almost.
Mm, right. I think there's been a few times that I've just like worked really late at night and I was just here by myself. And it's like, this is a pretty big building. It could get a little bit scary at night when everything is dark and just very quiet and you're by yourself, but it's beautiful. I personally haven't had any of those weird experiences in the museum yet. So,
Okay, good. Well, good. Just in case. So, and then finally, you, along with a lot of other folks, do more than one thing in St. Pete. So, you're on the chamber board. You've been on our board, but also you lead our St. Pete Young Professionals, which is an organization that I'd love for people just to learn a little bit about. So, can you tell people a little bit about the St. Pete Young Professionals?
yeah, absolutely. So I am this year's chair of the St. Pete Young Professionals. The St. Pete Young Professionals is, as Chris said, a group of the St. Pete Chamber of Commerce of individuals up to the age of 40 that want to connect. Our mission is to attract, connect, and engage. And so we are attracting, connecting, and engaging those individuals to our community to different opportunities, whether they're volunteering opportunities or just or business opportunities and employment opportunities as well. So this year is a little bit different for as it is for all of us. We had to shift gears again, think creatively. What can we do through a virtual platform, and how can we support our community, our local businesses? And so, my main focus really was to be able to figure out those different ideas and ways for us to be able to accomplish all those goals. So on a weekly basis, what we're doing right now is we're distributing and through our social media platforms at least one or two videos with industry tips from members. So it's just a very short video that talks about marketing and how to communicate in these difficult times, that talks about what should you be doing investment wise and financial planning for our young professionals. And there's a lot of questions that revolving around that. We'll have another one coming up talking a little bit more about the CARES Act details as well. So we're working on developing that content also on a weekly basis. And on Thursdays, we are supporting local businesses by promoting them on our social media platforms. So you can find us on Facebook and you can find us on Instagram, and we're using hashtag SPYP Cares. So every Thursday, we're supporting a local restaurant and a local brewery, and just letting our supporters, our audience know through those social media platforms, hey, instead of having a connect, we're going to join forces virtually. We're going to go to, Red Mesa. We're going to go to, Baybor Brewery or Delore, and we're going to support them by purchasing, dinner or lunch from them. And the businesses so far seem very appreciative of that. Some of them have even offered 25% off for any St. Pete Young Professionals that are coming to support them. So it's very exciting to be able to see those pictures. A lot of people are posting them, taking pictures, using that hashtag SPYPCare. So, and we're sharing all that content on social. So it's really nice to be able to see that even in these difficult times, we're still remaining engaged. We're still a team, and that we still share the same mentality to continue supporting our community and those local businesses.
That's beautiful, Patricia. I appreciate that, and I have seen a lot of those posts, and it makes a difference. It makes a difference for those businesses who get that kind of support, but it also makes a difference for those young professionals who know they have a role to play, which is leadership, and that's what you're showing, and you continue
Yeah.
to show that.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to do. And in addition to that, we wanted to be hands-on. So we teamed up with St. Pete Rising and the Edge District, And we also have a couple of times gather a couple of our board members and just members of the SBYPs, obviously following CDC guidelines and maintaining that social distancing. And we have picked up meals that have been individually wrapped, and we have distributed them to frontline workers, such as the St. Pete Fire Department.
Yeah, see, I mean so thank you. I mean, we've got so many stories like that, but it makes a difference when we see you in your real day role here, understanding that you're doing more than just that. You're supporting your entire community through the arts, but also through your volunteer efforts to feed people through the St. Pete Young Professionals. So there's good people out there. You're one of them. I appreciate you coming on today and to tell us. Stay safe. Someday our museums will be back open. Do you have any hazard of any guess of when you think that is? Have you guys talked about that?
We don't know, unfortunately. All that we can do is just hope for the best and then really just prepare for that time zero that in our minds, whenever that kicks in, then we can activate our plan.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll stick together and we'll be there when you do, Patricia. So thank you for being
Thank
online
you.
today.
Take care. Thanks for having me.